Welcome to the League of Women Voters Pros and Cons. I'm Jody Eisenberg, co-president of the San Bernardino Area League of Women Voters. In addition to candidates running for city, county, state, and federal positions, and the city and county measures, there are 12 statewide propositions on the ballot for the November 3rd election. We will present the pros and cons on each proposition. This presentation is nonpartisan and includes both supporting and opposing arguments. The arguments come from many sources and are not limited to those presented in the California Official Voter Guide information. The League of Women Voters of California Education Fund does not judge the merits of the arguments or guarantee their validity. There are two ways in which propositions get on the ballot. One is by initiative, where groups of people or individuals come up with an idea for a law and they pass around petitions, and if they collect the required number of signatures, that law will get put on the ballot and people will vote yes or no whether they want it. The second way is by referendum. A referendum is a law that is passed by the legislature and then referred to the people for approval. So it's put on the ballot so we can vote yes or no on whether we want that law to go into effect. Now, in evaluating and deciding how to vote on a proposition, we suggest you examine what the measure seeks to accomplish. Then ask yourself if you agree with those goals. Is the measure seeking changes that are consistent with your ideas about government? Do you think the proposed changes will make things better? Who are the real sponsors and opponents of the measure? Check where the money's coming from on MapLight's Voters Edge campaign finance website. Also consider whether the measure is well written. Will it create conflicts in law that may require court resolution or interpretation? Is it, quote, good government, end quote? Or will it cause more problems than it will resolve? Another question to consider is whether the measure creates its own revenue source. Does it earmark, restrict, or obligate government revenues? If so, weigh the benefit of securing funding for the measure's program against the cost of reducing overall flexibility in the budget. Does the measure mandate a government program or service without addressing how it will be funded? Does the measure deal with one issue that can easily be decided by a yes or no vote? Or is it complex and should be thoroughly examined and addressed by our elected representatives in the legislature? If the measure amends the Constitution, consider whether it really belongs in the Constitution in the first place. Would a statute accomplish the same purpose? Remember that all constitutional amendments require voter approval. What we put in the Constitution has to come back to the voters to be changed. Finally, be wary of distortion tactics and commercials that rely on image, but tell nothing about the substance of the measure. Beware of half-truths. You will find the suggestions that I've just recounted for you on how to evaluate a proposition at lwvc.org and then click on Voters Toolbox. Additional information about candidates and other issues on the November 3 ballot can be found at votersedge.org. And finally, please vote in the November 3rd election. There are many ways to do that this election, all of which are set out at lwvc.org. Thank you.